Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Pearsall. I'm the community manager at Committee for Children in the Second Step program, and I am really excited to be coming to you all today with the first in a series of interviews that we're going to be doing around a lot of the new things that are coming to the Second Step program. We're calling these the Meet the Makers series of interviews. And the first person that we're going to get to meet is our Vice President of Product Development, Polly Stansell. And Polly, welcome to the community. Please, can you introduce yourself? You don't need me to do that. You can do that yourself.
Sure. I'm Polly Stansell, and I'm Vice President of Product Development for Committee for Children. And I'm really excited to be here talking with you, Matt.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for us to hear it from the. I want to get carried away with it, but you're the person in charge. You're the person who's really guiding a lot of this work that's going on, and so I think it's a really awesome opportunity for everybody to get a chance to really hear from the source about some of the really cool things that are happening and the changes that are coming. And those changes are really big. I think as people have been listening and following along with recent news from the organization, we launched a whole new version of our digital middle school program in the fall. We launched a brand new program called Second Step for Out of School Time for a whole new kind of segment of the education market. We are about to launch a whole new program, SEL for Adults, and we have a whole new digital version of our elementary program coming out very soon. I think that's everything, but I'm not sure. So my first question for you is that as all of this stuff is happening, what is most important to you as you guide Second Step through these big changes?
Yeah, that's a great question. And first of all, I want to shout out to all the people behind me doing all the work. You know, it definitely takes a village to put this many programs together in such short period of time. So, you know, when I think about what's most important about guiding the Second Step family of programs, we have to make sure that we are building programs that foster supportive and successful learning environments. That their holistic approach to building supportive communities for every child through social emotional learning. And we also have a really strong commitment to ongoing and continuous improvement of our programs. And I think that will guide us and set us up for success for many years to come.
Oh, and kind of as we're doing this, how is the expanding Second Step program, bringing all these new offerings and updated offerings going to help districts and educators who are trying to support student social emotional learning? How's it going to help them in the years to come?
Yeah, so one of the things that I think we're doing really well by having this particular set of offerings at this time is we're really able to meet districts where they are. Whether they are just getting started out and they want to get all of their educators the professional development around SEL skills so that they can really embrace it and really speak with one vocabulary about SEL, or they're ready to implement, you know, throughout their entire school with a K-8 program, or, you know, they're introducing it to their out of school time providers and children that participate in those. It really just has SEL infused throughout the entire day. And when we do that, we know we're going to have much greater impact on the outcomes that we're striving for, because there is this consistent thread throughout the culture of the school.
Yeah, I think that's been something that I've certainly heard a lot in research, and coming from CASEL, has been a real focus on on infusing SEL. And it's not just that. I think also the SEL for Adults is a big part of that too. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we've known this for a very long time, right? The research is really clear around the importance of the educator in the classroom and making sure that they are well equipped with the skills and knowledge that they need to teach these skills well. Be able to respond to situations that come up that maybe we didn't plan for, yeah. Right? And the stronger you feel in your skills to deliver that, the better you are to respond to those kinds of situations.
Yeah, it really makes me think. We had in our educator community a a fantastic SEL champion named Tara Shelton from Atlanta Public Schools come and speak. And one of the things that she said was that if she could go back in time to when they started their SEL implementation, would be a focus on adults and to start there before moving out. And I think that really struck with me then and sticks with me now as you're kind of talking about what this looks like.
Yeah, and I'm kind of really excited to see, how many new districts and schools we get into that start with the SEL for adults. And maybe that will be their first experience with Committee for Children and the Second Step programs. And so it's going to be really fun to watch. Yeah.
So what is it? So what is your ideal with all of these different elements of the Second Step program? What is the vision that you have for what a really robust social emotional learning program will look like at a school and district?
Yeah. So a really robust one will not just be picking and choosing amongst our offerings, but they will be implementing all of the programs across the school day. And they'll do it because it started with a really strong site leader that believes in social emotional learning and the value that it brings to the school and to the culture of that school. And it improves really everyone's lives as a result of it. And with that strong leadership at the top, then, you can start looking at other aspects of dimensions of fidelity of implementation, for example. And so, a really strong implementation is where SEL is happening every day. And they're using the lessons, they're adapting them when they need to fit the particular scenarios that might resonate better with their students. But they're staying with the objectives. They're looking for those indicators that learning has happened at the end of each lesson. Students are engaged and educators are engaged. And when we see that happening, then that is another indication that it's a really good implementation. The content's good and strong, teachers are helping to make it relevant, and everybody is learning as a result of that. And then the last part of it would be looking at generalization. So is it only happening in the classroom? That's probably not as strong of an implementation as when you see it in the classroom, you see it in the hallways, at lunch, out on the playground. The kids are talking, with the vocabulary of SEL, and they're helping each other to be better and to develop those skills.
Yeah, and I think, that's one of my favorite things as a community manager is when I get to hear stories like that of educators that talk about how they went out during recess, or say these days it's not necessarily out on recess, but when they come into a breakout room on Zoom and they see kids working together, and they tell stories. They say that unprompted kids are pulling out the problem solving steps or talking about their feelings. And it's really neat when that can kind of all really come together. I think there's a reality there too that's often a little different from the ideal. And there's obstacles that can come up for both in the classroom level and the building level and the district level, and kind of reaching that state of SEL nirvana. And so what are some of the ways as you and your team have put together this family of programs that you've looked to address those roadblocks and help educators move past them?
Yeah, and those roadblocks are the same today as they were 25 years ago when I was in the classroom. And it's there's a lot of competing priorities, right, for educators, and how do you fit it all in? And so some of the things that we've done with the family of products that we've done, or created rather, is we've started with a universal program that is really intended for every student in the classroom. So an educator isn't having to understand how to teach this program differently for all of the different populations of students in their classroom. We have developed really short, well-designed lessons. Each are, about 15 minutes when you're talking about the littles, K1, and then 20 to 25 minutes for the other grades. Each lesson has a clear objective with clear indicators of whether or not that skill has been learned. And I think that that's really helpful for educators so that they know that the lesson that they've just taught has made a difference. The lesson guide provides a lot of support for educators as they're teaching the lesson, so they can feel prepared to teach that even on those days where they just are out of time and they have to pick it up and just start going with it. So there's more that we've built into the program. There's lots of supports that are built in that help for supporting families throughout the program, and different ways of looking at the content, how you bring student voice into it and things. And they're all really kind of at point of use. And we think that that really helps ease the burden of teachers being able to feel prepared to teach those lessons.
That's really, I'm looking forward to it. I'd say, I was saying this before we actually started, that I'm actually, when I say that, I'm being genuine, because a lot of this stuff is new to me as well. And so I'm excited from a professional point of view, and I'm also just genuinely excited to get to see these as things roll out over the next few months, and this really comes together, to see the way that the Second Step program is coming together. Polly, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, and to let everybody else know that if you've got questions for Polly or for anybody, please let us know about them. You can, wherever you happen to be watching this, if you're on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, feel free to post questions or comments in the chat. We'll try to get back to you. We're also going to be doing more of these coming up in the near future. Hopefully, Polly will get a chance to join us again. I don't know. You're a busy person, but we're going to be having a lot of different people come to talk about different elements of the program. So this isn't the only chance you'll have to hear from us. And in the meantime, I always want to let people know that that we have a community for people using our programs. It's on Facebook, our Second Step Educators community. If you want to continue conversations about these topics, and also to connect with other educators just like yourselves, please feel free to come out and join. If you're watching in the community, also hello, thank you very much for coming out. And so with that, I'm going to say thank you, everybody, and we will see you in the future. Take care.
Thanks, Matt.